Come on in. Come on in. We're going live. We're going live. We are live. We're not getting cut off like last week. They ain't doing that to us. No intro. We just going live. A lot of record breaking night for one individual. Some games that were surprising. That's every week. That's every week. The top 10 that we come out with when the top 5 teams win, I don't know, that kind of puts a not a lot. I mean, it kind of tells you they're the top teams. Now they play the other top teams and they beat them. We'll go over the scores real quick. Hopefully, we'll have Hunter Dawkins from Gazebo Gazette. I don't know what he's doing, but I will run over the scores as we have them. We have all scores final. All scores are final. Of course, you can see it on our Facebook page, Gulf Coast High School Football. We will run through from the bottom to the top. Discovery Christian defeated Christian Collegiate 54-0. Christian Collegiate still looking for the first win. Both teams moving up from 8-man to 11-man football. Christian Collegiate just unable to score. They haven't scored this year, unfortunately. They lost tonight 54-0. Amet from Santa Wright Rebels did defeat St. Patrick 42-8. Greene County takes the bell back and defeats George County 29-23. And I'll put this out there. If any coaches want to come on here, I didn't send links because I've had bad luck of inviting coaches and they can't make it, which is fine. So I have not sent any links out to coaches. If they want to come join the live stream, text me. I'll send you a link. We'll put you on there, win or lose, whatever you did tonight. Please join us here for the post game show. Continuing again, Greene County takes the bell over George County 29-23. Long Beach shuts out Bay High 49-0. That is a long time coming for Long Beach on their last shutout. I believe I had it written down here, and I'll get back to that here in just a second. We'll run through the rest of them. Emmett County Trojans defeated Resurrection 28-6. Moss Point, Coach Jenkins gets his first win as a Tiger and as a head coach, 24-14 over St. Stanislaus. I did have the Rocket Charles winning. I know both teams are struggling on offense, but putting forth the effort. Moss Point gets the win there tonight. Forest County over Van Cleve, 21-19. Heidelberg, yes, a now 3A team. They won the 2A state championship last year. I had them winning over Harrison Central. They did beat Harrison Central at home 50-7. That is Heidelberg Oilers over Harrison Central. Pearl River Central keeps on rolling with Coach Feaster in his second season. Defeats East Central 50-21. Presbyterian Christian gets a surprising win for me. I know it was at home. Pass Christian takes their first loss. As soon as I put them right there, fixing to bust into the top 10, they take a loss 35-21. They call them PCB. Presbyterian Christian defeats Pass Christian 35-21. St. Martin up at Stone. Told you St. Martin was going to get the win over Stone. No excuses for Stone. Their defense is real. We knew that, and it kind of proved it tonight. St. Martin wins. Crockett gets all 3 scores for St. Martin in their win there. 21-3. They moved to 3-0. Poplarville, the game that just got done here within the last 15 minutes in a shootout over Hancock, and we'll circle around back to that game. 60-54. Hancock kicked the onside kick. They recovered the ball, actually had a chance. It threw it. I didn't watch the game. I was listening to it, the Talking Ball app, which you guys can get for free. Listening to it on the app, and they had a chance there at the end with the ball with less than a minute left. That is Poplarville did outscore Hancock 60-54. That is the most points combined for Hancock now. Defeats last year's record, which was 108. They have 114 combined. West Harrison on a roll. They're winning and winning. They beat Gaucher. Gaucher, lost last week to D'Iberville, stopping that 20-game home streak. They had a 5-game road winning streak, 47-17. I'd like to get Coach Quincy Patrick on. I didn't send links out for this app for them to join us If coach is out there and you want a link, I will send it to you. Just let me know. Text me. I've texted every coach at the beginning of the season. They have my number. Coach Quincy Patrick, 3-0, now 4-0, defeating Gaucher 47-17. A convincing win there. Gulfport up at Laurel between the bricks. They defeat Laurel 17-14. A little bit closer game than I thought it was going to be, but Gulfport a week off last week and wins it tonight 17-14. D'Iberville convincing win 49-21 up at Seminary. I had that 39-18. So right around that score. Picayune, I was able to watch that. Clay Sweet talking about y'all, the live stream. Uh, Picayune takes care of Biloxi. After Biloxi, we had the guest on last week, and they, as they should be, hyped up to beat Pascagoula. And Picayune, they're going to run the ball, and you still can't stop it. I watched the game for the most part, not every play. 23-14, Picayune gets the win over Biloxi. And the number one team on the coast, Ocean Springs, was down early through that pick six. He got hit on the second play or so of the game. I started watching that. I did watch that with Shep there on the Ocean Springs broadcast. It was 21-14 Ocean Springs at halftime. That was the final score, 21-14 there as Ocean Springs takes out Pascagoula. So the top 10 results, I just posted them on X at Coast Football and then also on the Facebook page. The top 10, which is released every Tuesday at 7, you know that, constant. Game predictions Thursday at 7. Weekly schedule Wednesday at 7. Number one team, the top 5 teams won. Ocean Springs, Picayune, D'Iberville, Gulfport, West Harrison, all won. Biloxi, 6th ranked team, lost to who? 2nd ranked Picayune. Poplarville, we just mentioned, beat Hancock. Pascagoula lost. They lost to number one team, Ocean Springs, by 1-score game. Stone, without their QB1, he is going to be out. Stone's off next week, and Stone, like I say, played a pretty decent game there. It was 7-3 at halftime. I mean, I had it. The final score was going to be 34-17 and ended up being 21-3. Without your QB1, Aiden Green, the great running back at quarterback, they're going to obviously, like I say, struggle. And St. Martin did what they had to do. They moved to 3-0. But 10th ranked Gaucher lost, and then this week we extended it out to Pass Christian, 11th ranked. They lost, and PRC 12th ranked. They did win tonight. So again, those are the final scores there. You can get them on our Facebook page. We did have, again, I'll circle back around. I posted it. Ty Keys had him a record-breaking night. In my write-up in the game predictions, I did say Ty Keys will run for 150 and 2 touchdowns. I think that was his first 2 or 3 plays. Now I didn't been able to watch it. It wasn't live stream, and again, it was on the Talking Ball app. I didn't listen to it until later in the game. Ty Keys, and they do use the word unofficial because they keep the stats there for Poplarville. 17 carries, 546. Yes, 546 yards tonight. Eight rushing touchdown. That ties a record there with the 8 rushing touchdowns. And we're trying to, or at least I was trying to look up. Well, we have the records. We have the record book. Now, is it updated? It might not be updated from when the last time that I had it, but I believe that may be a state record with 546 yards rushing for Ty Keys. And we're looking, I'm going to look and see if I can bring that up. If you have any questions, I'm going to look at and see if people are posting as far as what game surprised you guys. Of course, we'll have tomorrow or Sunday Coast Talk or Fan Talk, and I put a post out there, and I do reply to the post. People says who's surprising win or won tonight or not. Pascagoula Ocean Springs 21-14. And again, that was a halftime score. A lot of mistakes on both sides of the ball. It was closer than I had expected. I thought it was going to be a two-score game for Ocean Springs. Picayune Biloxi, I picked Picayune to win. It was 23-14. It was 9-7 at halftime. They did call a touchdown back on Picayune, but I mean that happens. Biloxi threw that interception. They were driving late in the second quarter, threw the interception to stop the drive. And again, it was a 23-14 Picayune. I had it 31-20 for Picayune, but Biloxi just falls short there. That was not a surprise for me. I mean, could I've seen it go both ways? Certainly seen it go both ways. So let me bring in Hunter Dawkins.
What's going on, my friend? How you doing, Matt?
Hey, let me get rid of this box. There's Hunter from the Gazebo Gazette. I appreciate you joining me, Hunter. It's always better instead of just hearing myself talk, as I don't know what Bingo, of course, with Ocean Springs on the road in Pascagoula. And I don't know if he's going to come on or not. Shall see. But you were up in Gulfport, and that's where
Now,
I was getting some. I'm sorry, you were with Gulfport up in
in the
Laurel, where
brick,
you?
yeah, I
Yes.
was in the bricks, and there was definitely a lot of offense that was bricks today. The turnovers, turnover. That was pretty much what everything happened. Gulfport got lucky, but I really think there's going to be a lot of coaching talk and a lot of decisions made. They're going to be changing because they did not look strong, and they unfortunately got by it because their defense remained pretty stout throughout the game. But yeah, 17-14 was the ending score.
Yeah.
Gulfport
Well,
17, 14.
I mean. It is surprising because they were off last week, the Admirals. Coach Pennock,
That's right.
I wasn't able to watch the show on Thursday. I'm calling Gulf Coast Bulldogs with their nice win at Jones, but they had 2 weeks, and you're saying again, I haven't seen any highlights because they were on the road, and I didn't see if
Yeah.
they were streaming it or not. Well, I think I did saw they were having trouble, and I remember other
Yeah.
teams having trouble streaming it up there, getting a signal.
Yeah. In
Nonetheless,
the brick. Yeah, the
it,
bricks are tough.
did Crosby? Do you have any stat? Did Crosby?
Crosby
Get over
had
100
about,
yards.
yeah, he had 270, like I believe it was somewhere in the ballpark of 252 or something like that with 30 touches. Now, granted, he was one of the turnovers, but he was the first quarter. He had a fumble. Of course, his fumble led to Laurel's touchdowns. So the first quarter went like this. First quarter, the first series, Gulfport throws an interception, pick six, Laurel's up 7-0. Second series, Crosby gets out in the open field, gets stripped. Laurel gets the ball, turns it back over to the Gulfport 10-yard line. Two plays, they go in, score. So it's 14-0. And then after that, that was it. That was Laurel's game. They literally didn't have enough to. The defense of Gulfport played stout. I mean, the defensive line was unbelievable. Robertson, um, Javion Anderson. I mean, a bunch of those kids were really showing up, and they were blitzing packages, and defensive backs were playing there, and they had a couple of picks themselves and a fumble recovery, but the offense just didn't have it because instead of them just hanging on and giving the ball to Crosby, even though they gave him 30 touches, it just wasn't available a lot of times. He did get two scores. He had two touchdowns, but it was later on in the game, and they were lucky to pull it off.
Yeah, again, that was a surprising score. 17-14. Gulfport gets it done there on the road again after being off a week. I had them 35-19.
Yep.
Tonight with the 17 games, I did go 14-3. I did lose, and I give, like I say, Moss Point a great win there for Coach Jenkins, his first win as a head coach. Of course, coming over from Perry Central as the coordinator there, but then
Yep.
also. I lost that game, and I lost, what was the other game? Presbyterian Christian, PBC defeats Pass Christian, at home. They went up to PBC, and 35-21, Pass Christian loses their first game of the season. And I know you you talk to Coach, on Sundays with your
Stocks, yeah.
podcast, stock
Uh,
still. I mean, that's I don't know how. I mean, are you shocked by that score? I mean, Presbyterian Christian, 1-1, and they're both high scoring teams, and Pastor
yeah.
Christian was rolling. You know, how do you feel about that score?
Matt, I'm not really surprised, and I'll tell you why. It's not because I didn't think Pastor Shan had a good team. They're still pretty good, but the fact of the matter is, and Coach Stockstill and I talked about, Presbyterian Christian played in a hard Division II MAIS with Jackson Prep, MRA, Jackson Academy, all these big level schools, and they held their own. And because I'd been with the Super Talk with the scoreboard show, they were telling me, they're like, Hunter, you need to watch this team. They're good. And even though they had never really won a championship, their record didn't indicate anything good. They played in a tough division in MAIS. And I'm actually pretty impressed that Pass even held their own. Now, I'm not necessarily saying one thing or the other as far as coming across and winning the game, but I think that the fact that Pass held their own with that team looked to be pretty solid. And Presbyterian Christian has some great facilities from what I've heard, and that's of course part of the private school league.
Yes, yes, it is. I was looking total. Let me see tackles. I was looking for. I have the record book again. Ty Keys, if you didn't hear,
Yeah,
went for that 546, and they do use the word unofficial because it was the Poplarville broadcast team on the Talking Ball app that carries the
yeah,
stats. So,
they
and I'm
they
trying
beat
to.
the team like 60-54 or something like that. I don't know.
Hancock had a chance at the end with the onside
Yeah,
kick. Poplarville was going to run the ball out, and they
wow,
they fumbled the ball, and Hancock got it and scored, and then they did the
wow,
onside kick and got it, and it was 60-54. Yes, that was crazy that it went down that way. Yeah, I mean
wow.
for that, and Ty Keys 8 rushing touchdowns. So yes, that's what I'm trying to. Again, I have the record, or at least it's probably not up to date. I had the rushing records for the state somewhere on my computer here, but the other scores. What are the as far as I ran through the other scores. Does St. Martin? I'm getting to some of the comments that are on the live stream. Uh,
Telling you,
of
Matt,
course, what's that?
I'm telling you what, I'm telling you what who the sleeper team is in 7A, and you can tell me that I was right afterwards, and I know you predicted them in this. West Harrison. West Harrison is going to be a solid team, and I think once they get to region play, you're going to see them show up a little bit better than they have before.
Well, West Harrison, yes, they beat Poplarville, which was, the defending the champions. Yes, you want to say 7A against 4A, but we just saw a 3A team tonight take out Harrison Central. They were 2A
Yeah,
state champions. I believe they moved up to 3A, and that
yeah.
is, I mean, not beat. I mean, I had them winning. I had Harrison Central losing to a 3A team again, 3A, 2A to Heidelberg 50-7. I had them losing 27
Wow,
to 20, but 50-7 Heidelberg. They won the state
wow.
championship last year, so it's not, now I don't know how many returners have come back off that team, but they're not a slouch to a team. And again, I believe they moved up to 3A with the reclassification. Nonetheless, 3A, takes out a
Yeah,
7A.
7A. Yeah,
And like I said, the classes just matter of how many students you have in there. It doesn't mean that you're going to be good or bad. You just have more to pick from when you have more students.
yeah, that's
So
right.
to get back to West Harrison, they beat the Poplarville that first week, which was a surprise. I mean, it was at Poplarville. I had Poplarville winning. So yes, it was a semi surprise to me. I have to come up with my surprise ranking there on how surprised it was. And then they went up and beat Forest, who was 1-2, and this was their first home game, West Harrison. And I don't have any
Yeah,
stats, but they won convincingly over a Gaucher team that feel is going to make it to the playoffs. They're not necessarily going to win the region
yeah.
title, as of
Yeah,
right now, with Picayune being in the region, but it's still a nice win for West Harrison to take
yeah,
out Gaucher the way they
absolutely.
did, 47-17. So, it's that was a good win there for West Harrison. Yes, can they make it to the playoffs? Yes. Who they're going to beat? I mean,
Champ,
right now, Harrison Central is outside looking in. You would think the way
yeah,
they got beat tonight, and St. Martin again. I know a couple fans were in the comments here,
yeah,
talking about St. Martin, and again, Stone. Their defense is legit, which I kind of knew that. I've seen every game this year, the 3 games, and when you lose your quarterback, that doesn't help any. He's out for several weeks, Stone. So they had their running back, Aiden Green, and you're just going to
yeah.
key on the running back. So Stone, this was their first tough test. Stone was the first 2 games they beat a Van Cleve team, they beat an East Central team. They're 0-6. Those 2 teams
Yeah,
combined. This was their first test on the road, and St. Martin, 7-3 at halftime, and then 21-3. Stone lost to St. Martin with Crockett getting all 3 touchdowns. So a nice game there for the St.
yeah.
Martin quarterback in Crockett. So there was several fans that posted in the group
St.
chat.
Martin's they're a building team. I mean, they have changed coaches so much the last few years, and I think they finally have something that they can build on, and especially in their facilities. They're apparently building a new stadium. Apparently, they're putting in all these new things, which is certainly a good thing for that fan base back there. And so I'm looking forward to seeing what St. Martin's got in the future.
Yes, certainly they do there. Again, I was trying to find the record book there as far as to see what the most rushing yards in the state. As like say Ty Keys, 546 yards, 17 on 17 rushes,
Yep.
8 rushing touchdowns, which they are saying that ties the record for most touchdowns in a game, rushing touchdowns. So, what's other games here as far as Bay High, gets shut out?
Yeah,
Long Beach.
Long Beach wins their first game in a long time. Long Beach finally wins their homecoming game. I'm happy for Coach Finley and that group down there. They've definitely been waiting, and they've definitely put out a lot of. They've had a lot of tough games, and I'll tell you, that Forest County team that was a really solid team who ended up taking it to Van Cleve tonight. They came back in the second half against Forest County. They didn't win the game, but that showed me a lot of Long Beach, and they might have something in them still left. So
Yeah, Long. And they stream their games. Bay High certainly appreciate that. They do a great job. They have instant replay. That's a bonus there. For Bay High, Long Beach. So the last time they shut out a team was November 5th, 2010, 34-0 at West Harrison.
wow,
So
wow.
again, 15 years ago they had their last shutout. That is Long Beach, and they do it
And
tonight.
you
49.
know who was on that? You know who was on that 2010 team? Your boy Richie Brown that played for the Panthers, and Nick James who played with Mississippi State. That was 2 guys on that 2010 team. So
Oh, there you go. I'm seeing here. Well, I have to see what that message that just popped up about. Yes, I know the same. The record as far as did I lose you, Hunter? I know you're driving back. You must. We might have lost you. We might have lost Hunter. But again, I was trying to find the record book, which we have somewhere on here. But again, it's not necessarily official. I got it a few years ago, the updated records, without me taking off myself.
you still there, Matt?
Yep, yep, I'm there, Hunter.
Okay. Sorry, I'm getting calls from left and right. So, huh.
Yeah, where are you going tomorrow? USM?
Yep. Yes, sir. I'll be up in Hattiesburg with the big game. I think that's. I really honestly believe that's going to be your next field storm if USM wins because It's a big one. That's going to be their first, division FBS win, and if they can get it, I know Coach Huff has been really preparing this team big time, and they've shown some good prominence, and if they show up how they've been playing, this shouldn't be much of a matchup. But you never know with this team because Appalachian State is a quality squad that's got some, they've got some good players, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, last time I looked at, they were actually favored Appalachia State, I believe.
I
I
wouldn't
believe
be
they were
surprised.
a couple point favorite. But getting back here to the scores again, the teams that have yet to win this year, George County. George County played closer, to Greene County, 29-23. I thought it would be a little bit. I thought I had it 35-13 Greene County, but George County, who's trouble scoring this year.
Well, Matt, what happened is Greene County's lost, their coach. George County lost their.
Yep, and you went off, and you were fixing to say lost their quarterback and Deuce Knight, but hey, Greene County has a coach that has won a state championship. I was there for that state championship when he won it with Forest County. Of course, that is Coach Larry Dolan there, that is now with Greene County, and they did, like I say, it was a closer game than I had expected tonight with Greene County defeating George County 29-23. As I'm trying to multitask here,
You there, Matt? Sorry about
yeah,
that. Now.
no, that's the way it is when you're traveling back. That's no problem. The 0-3 teams, that haven't won, that's like PRC. I mean, now they moved to 4-0. They have
Yep.
50-21 over East Central, who's struggling. They're 0-4. But
Yep.
PRC has that game next week, which they will host Poplarville. So
That'll
that
tell
I'm
you.
gonna.
That'll tell you a lot about their team if they can manage to beat Poplarville going into region play. That'll be a big time difference about what's going to happen then.
Yes, most certainly there. As I'm trying to see if they're get caught up here on the comments, and for some reason, let me see. Long Beach used to put Wildcat formation. Yes, Brown for Long Beach. That's Clay. I appreciate the comment there, Clay. For some reason I can't read the comments as I would like to, at least on my phone. But yes, Brown from Long Beach. They put it on, Bay High tonight
Yep.
with that 49-0 win there. So also, like I say, Moss Point gets their first win. Uh, who else gets their first win tonight? I think nobody else got their first win this season. Again, Poplarville wins 60-54 over Hancock. West Harrison moves to 4-0. Diabloville 4-0. Picayune 4-0. Ocean Springs 4-0. St. Martin 4-0. Pearl River
Now,
Central 4-0.
Now, Matt, let me ask you this now. That's a different scenario, too, that hasn't been talked about. And, because I know we've talked a lot about 7A and 6A, but that Region 8, 4A with Pass, with Greene County, with Moss Point, with Bay High, and I'm missing one team. I'm trying to think of who else is in. There's only 5 teams, but they're all kind of up in the mix right now. I'm kind of wondering what your thoughts are. Oh yeah, Forest County AHS, who joined that because Poplarville moved over to the region with Columbia, Lawrence County, in that region. But now you have Forest County, Pass, Bay High, Moss Point, and I mentioned the other one, but and Greene
Yeah,
County.
Bay High, Forest County, Greene County, Moss Point, Pasco Strand. And I was now, I mean, I don't think it still changes my mind, but I was going to predict the regions when it got close to where
Yeah.
that when it starts region play. I was going to project who was going to win the region,
Okay.
and
Okay. I'm
Pasco
sorry.
Strand. No,
Yeah,
no, no. Pass Christian, I said it the other week that that I favor Pass Christian to win that region because again, Moss Point, I know they won, got their first win tonight against St. Stanislaus. I
yeah.
mean, they're Moss Point. I don't think they would beat Pass Christian.
Now,
Greene County is a team. They beat George County tonight. I know they lost their quarterback, their coach, but Coach Larry Dolan is in there now. He's
yeah.
a state champion. He's won. Uh, Forest County is, with their new head coach, because that's where Coach Dolan came from. They're rolling, they're doing good, and of course, Bay High getting their, haven't won tonight. They have their new head coach, Coach French, there. So I'm still thinking Pastor Stan in the 4A class is still the team to beat. Now they,
There you
like I
go.
say, took it on the chin tonight, and at
But
PCB at Presbyterian.
but you gotta believe Presbyterian Christian is going to be pretty stout in their district. I don't really even know who's in their district. Is Jeff Davis or some of those other 3A competition in their district? I mean, if you know, I don't know if you know because I know they're not coached. They're Pine Belt teams, but I'm just kind of wondering. So
And Presbyterian Christian, is that what you were wanting to know?
yes, sir.
And
Because
while I was looking that up, Pastor Stan next week will be playing at St. Stanislaus. So, I mean,
yeah,
right now, Pastor Stan would be favored to win that game
I
there.
would favor them too as well. So. But
Yeah,
but that game has always been. It's like the Pastor. It's like the Stanislaus Bay High game. Both of those teams were not great, and you saw how tight the game was last week with the 2014 Crab Trap victory. But also too, the past Stanislaus game is always kind of dependent on where there are always some weird things happening because I played at Stanislaus and I played in a lot of those crab trap games and a lot of the past games. It's always a little interesting how they place the ball, per se. So,
yes, the region you were talking about, which is what Presbyterian Christian plays in, it has
yeah.
St. Patrick, St. Stanislaus, Tylertown, and West Marion.
Okay.
All of them were 1-1 heading into tonight. And again, Presbyterian
Okay.
beat Pascal Christian, which
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
a semi surprise to me
Sure.
that
Sure.
Pascal Christian lost. I mean, I know it was a road trip, so it's always difficult to win on the road.
It
So
wasn't real. I really think from their history, from what I was told by the Upper Super Talk guys that cover MAIS, like their the golden nugget at least, they all told me, they said Presbyterian Christian is a lot better team than what their records indicated in MAIS.
yes, and then like I said, when I'm looking at trying to predict scores, especially teams that are not on the coast, and even teams on the coast, I was listening to Talking Ball podcast or the live stream of the game tonight as Biloxi went to Picayune, and Clay Sweet and company there were naming off players that this
Yeah,
player's out, this linebacker's out. So that's one
for
thing when I'm
Biloxi.
trying to know for Picayune,
Okay. For Picayune.
was
Okay.
out. Yeah, so that I'm just saying that and not making excuses for myself when I'm trying to predict games.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
is that I don't know who's going to be in and who's going to be out unless, like Stone, I knew their quarterback was going to be out just because it was
Yeah.
known. But
Yeah.
and that makes a difference. I'm starting to think, man, can Picayune, stop Biloxi? And they
Sure.
certainly did stop them. My concern was their cornerbacks and the great quarterback they have
Yeah.
there in Biloxi, and he made some great throws, but Picayune also picked him off. At least at one time that I
Yeah.
saw there at the end of the first half. So, Picayune was. I know they're good and they're going to run the ball, but yet they still couldn't be stopped. So
Well,
that was still a great game, and both teams certainly will be in the playoffs, if not challenging for a
you
region title.
you and I both remember last week when we had the discussion with the gentlemen that rolled us. They said to you and me that we got to watch out for that Biloxi quarterback, and that's I had I didn't didn't say anything. I knew that Picayune was pretty solid, but I was impressed at least in the first half with how tight the game was. I just didn't know that Picayune was going to run away with it. So
Yeah, again, I apologize for not to the fans. I'm trying to the comments on my phone. Let me see. Show on stage. Okay. So he's saying Gulfport had 3 picks, 2 fumbles, and a blocked field goal against them, and somehow got the win.
Nah,
Number 5.
the field goal wasn't blocked. The holder did not secure the ball, and so they didn't block the field goal because the kicker would have made it, but the holder did not secure the ball, and they had I believe it was either 4 or 5 picks in the fumble, and then there was also 2 or 3 turnovers on downs, and so it was a nasty game to watch. So.
Yeah, and of course I'm again trying to catch up on the comments there, of course, from Hancock Hawks football radio about Poplarville got lucky tonight. I mean, I didn't again listen till the very end of the game, but Ty's Keys is him though. So yes, I don't know if y'all stream the games. If that's still Underwood that does the games, I look for it to see
Well, Matt, that
if they were
sounds like a
streaming the
seven on
games.
seven. It sounds like a 7-on-7 matchup. So, more than anything else. So,
Yeah, with Ty Keys again, 17 carries, 546 yards on the ground, 8 rushing touchdowns. I was still trying to look up my again what I have for the state records, and I'm still trying to search it and do other things on there, but to see if that is a record for rushing yards. Again, it was unofficial as the talking ball, the
yeah,
commentators there, did a great job in keeping us informed. But yes, that was a great game, Hancock.
it's got to be up there
And
with Marcus Dupree or something like that. At least a 500 plus. So,
yes, well, I know that D'Iberville running back. I don't keep single game stats. It's just
yeah.
it's too difficult. So I started a Coast record book a long time ago in season stats. So I try to go back and I update it every year. And so unfortunately, I don't have a regular season
Well,
stat.
well, not that I'm trying to promote myself or anything like that, but the listeners, if y'all want to listen to the HD Experience podcast coming up this next Monday, we have Rick Cleveland, who is the famous Mississippi State or Mississippi Hall of Fame sports writer, who has quite a number of stats from high school levels, and I'll ask him a few questions, see what he thinks. So.
Yeah, I'm surprised that I asked the state many years ago. I emailed them and said, "You guys have a record book for the state?" They said no, they did not have a record book, and that's when I started the Coast record book. And
Yeah,
now, is it 100% accurate? No, it's not because I only can go so far back, and people,
yeah.
fans try to say I did this or did that. Well, they do have to send me some kind of proof that they
Well, and I
accomplished
think
it.
Max Preps only goes back to about what 97 or
For
98, so
no,
94. Okay,
no,
yeah, so
2004, and
yeah,
now I'm
okay,
glad that they are going back to max preps. That was announced last week.
yep, that's right,
That they are going back to it.
yep.
So, and speaking of stats, let me see. Smack'em with Boz has posted the who's leading the leaderboard after week 2, and I did share that on the Facebook page. Uh, and we'll run over that here. This is after 2 games. Brody from Ocean Springs has 24 total tackles. He leads the
Okay,
Coast. Saenz says Z. If I say his name wrong, I'd apologize on that. As far as sacks, KJ Washington from D'Iberville, 4.5 sacks. That leads the Coast. You have several players with 2 of them. And then on the offensive side of the ball, you have Perius Trivelin, of course,
Paris,
Trivelon from, yeah,
yep, Paris
he
Trevelyan, he's the
he
man.
he 544 yards through 2 games, Gage Simpson from Greene County. Of course, they have him listed. Seth Crockett, we just mentioned tonight, all 3 rushing touchdowns, 374 yards through the air. He is third. Again, you could check him out on the Facebook page, Gulf Coast High School Football. I got him shared. Rushing leaders, Kyle Capers from Van Cleve, 391 yards, 3 rushing touchdowns. Again, this is just through 2 games. Aiden Green from Stone, 364 yards on the ground. Jordan Stapleton from West Harrison, 339 yards. That's your top 3. Receiving, Dwight Thomas, 257 yards, 6 receiving touchdowns. Ian Michael Harlan from Ocean Springs, 184 yards. Jace Matthews from Greene County. Kason Thomas from Goshen, 174 yards. Those are the top ones. And for the coast after 2 games. So yes, after 2 games there. Let me see if I can get some more questions. Again, I was going to invite some coaches on here, as all the games obviously are final. Again, the biggest the story tonight is. Go ahead.
I was going to ask you, Matt, with the number 1 team, Ocean Springs, so that the final score was 21-14 over Pascagoula.
Yes, and that was the halftime score.
Yeah, that I was going to say there must not have been any scoring in the second half.
There was not. I had them on there with Shep and them making the call, and there was there was a pick 6 to start the game from Pascagoula, and then I wasn't paying that close attention to the game where the quarterback for Pascagoula was out, and they had brought in Loper, who Loper had the pick 6. He came in at quarterback, so I don't know if the quarterback went out for Pascagoula by injury or they just took him out and put in Loper. But yes, 21-14, Ocean Springs was able to get that.
Okay, that was
there.
Because I thought that maybe I had misheard or maybe something, but 21-14 was the final, and I said, okay, well they must have just kept the halftime score, and something happened that they delayed the game. So.
Yeah, no, I was watching that, like I say, on the Ocean Springs. I appreciate them doing that. So, Hunter Dawkins again from Gazebo Gazette. I'm going to give you 6 teams. You tell me which team is the surprise that is undefeated. There are 6 teams on the coast that have not lost.
Okay.
And you're going to go from Ocean Springs, Picayune, D'Iberville, West Harrison, St. Martin, PRC. So out of those 6 teams, which team
the best,
surprises you? What team surprises you that, hey, they haven't lost a game out of those 6 teams?
Surprises me out of that. Mention it to me again. You said Ocean Springs, West Harrison,
Picayune, D'Iberville, St. Martin, PRC.
St. Martin would be the surprising one. That would be the ultimate. I'm not saying they're the best one out of that group, but that's the most surprising one out of the teams that they've played. Not because they haven't been favored in some of the games, but the fact that the way that they've played the last few years, and with the coaching, the resources they've had, the fact that they're coming out with an undefeated record at this point, that's got to be the most surprising one.
Yes. That, like I say, PRC carryover from last year. The reason the fans don't see me because I'm reading the comments. I'm going to read the comments.
Now the second one out of that group, and this is not too far behind, but the second one, in my opinion, would ahead of PRC, but the second one would be D'Iberville. D'Iberville, that was a definite. Not saying that they haven't been favored in any of the games that they've played good enough competition, but just because of the last few years, D'Iberville's had some hiccups against some certain teams, and so that's surprising right there. Then right next to them would be PRC, and then West Harrison. Even though West Harrison, I've told you how strong they are. You and I both know they've been predicted to win every one of those games. Not as much as they've won them by, but they have been predicted to win all their games.
Yeah, well, the first game I didn't have them me personally didn't have them beating Poplarville at home
Yeah,
that first game, but last week Forest they won at Forest, and then tonight I
yeah.
had them beating their first home game. It's homecoming, and Coach Quincy Patrick gets it done there. Some of the comments, I know people were mentioning about the teams that have 5 teams in the region, 4 of them make the playoffs. Well, that's what happens when you move up to make 7 classes instead of keeping it at 6.
Well,
You
Matt, and
know,
I'll tell you this: why I was not surprised that West Harrison is where they are, what they are, because I've seen that team in scrimmage and in jamborees. That was probably the best offensive and defensive line I've ever seen West Harrison have. So I'm not surprised by them beating the teams they've beaten, even though outside the box, you're like, well, damn, I can't believe they won those games. I wasn't really shocked by that because of how good the quality of players and how good the trenches they are.
yes, they have it going, and next week they will host Laurel. They will host Laurel next week. That is West Harrison.
That'll
That
be
is
interesting after the game tonight. That'll definitely be interesting right there.
Yes, it will be there. Harold again. Harold from the uh, I'm say Harold from the Gazebo Gazette
Oh, Hunter,
joining us here. Hunter Dawkins. Well, I'm thinking of because I'm reading too many things.
you're
As
thinking about my co-host on the Gulfport Network, the G96.7, Harold Rose. He's the play-by-play, and so. But yeah, Hunter Dawkins, the Gazebo Gazette, and look forward to seeing it. And hopefully, y'all will follow us at least on the podcast. Come Monday morning, I'll have Matt as one of my guests again, and along with Rick Cleveland and Craig Stevenson from Auburn, well, from Alabama.com. And then I'll have Coach Pinnock from Gulfport coming in. All you guys, that's a great one. And I appreciate every time that I have Matt. So,
yes, that I appreciate having me on there. And again, I think it'll come out Monday or Tuesday after the Sunday when we do it. All right,
the broadcast.
bro.
Yes, sir.
So I'm going to give you these teams. Since I gave you the 6 undefeated teams with Ocean Springs, Picayune, D'Iberville, West Harrison, St. Martin, PRC. I'm going to give you the teams that
Okay.
have not won a game as I was going over the scoreboard here. So the teams that have not won a game, who is surprised that you were surprised that have not won a game. So we
Okay.
have Hancock
Okay.
Hawks, who are 0-4, East Central's 0-4, Van Cleve's 0-4, Bay High's 0-4, George County's 0-4, and I'm not gonna put in Christian Collegiate. I'm actually tempted not to make predictions on them because they are moved up from 8-man to 11-man, and
Yeah.
they are just struggling. They have not scored a point this year. So anyways, out of those, there's 5 teams: George County, Bay High, Van Cleve, East Central, Hancock. Who surprised you the most that they are 0-4? They have not won a game this year. Which team surprises
The
you?
most surprising team out of that group is Van Cleve because Van Cleve's played some pretty good games against some pretty good teams, and with Coach Fant and those guys out there, I'm really surprised that they have not. They haven't been favored in any of the games, but they've played very quality games, and I'm not so much certain that they won't be able to pretty much take it in their region. I'm not saying that they are going to win their region, but I think they'll be a tough team to beat among region play.
Yes, Van Cleve. Again, these are obviously non-region games, and they don't want to say they don't mean anything, but they don't mean anything if your team in making the playoffs. As far as Van Cleve, they lost to St. Martin, that first week, which I thought Van Cleve was going to win,
Yep.
but they lost at 64-21, and then they lost in overtime last week at Richland, and then they lost tonight
all
And they
quality
are,
teams, all quality teams. And so, you can't really say like, well, this team's not that good. Well, they've been playing some pretty quality teams, and so I'm not saying they're doing. I got to be like Bill Parcells. Your record is what you are, but at the same level, they might be able to pick it up during region play.
yes, and I stand corrected when I was looking at my scoreboard. Those teams are 0-3. I might have said 0-4, and then I might have said
Yeah,
4-0 for the other teams. You only played three
yeah,
games,
yeah.
except for Gulfport, which they haven't. They lost
Two.
their first game. So
Yeah.
I stand corrected. 3-0 teams, and then the teams that are 0-3. So yes, Van Cleve, I can agree with you on that. Again, East Central struggled last year. They're still looking to get it going. Hancock, Coach King, from Greene County, his first
Yeah.
year there, is 0-4. George County, I know they lost. We keep on saying it, but they have Gaucher, a running back. I don't know how he's
They,
doing necessarily this year, but they
they
they lose
lost
a close
everybody.
game,
Yeah.
tonight against Greene County, and then Bay with their new head coach. So yes, Van Cleve and any of these teams again can still make the playoffs. Van Cleve is in the division again with East Central, Northeast Jones, Purvis, Stone, Van Cleve, and Wayne County.
Yeah.
And heading in tonight, Stone and Purvis, the only two that had won a game. So the
Yeah.
top four make it out those six teams. Can Van Cleve make it to the playoffs? Most
Sure.
certainly. They have 3 of their 5 games are at home.
Yeah.
So
That's
Bulldog
right.
fans do not be you know, do not put your head down because you haven't won a game tonight.
That's right.
So
That's right. And and Hancock has played some good games. I mean, obviously against Poplarville tonight, and they've got a good offensive group behind King, but also their district is brutal. I mean, it's brutal with Picayune, with Pascagoula. That's and with PRC now, and so that's gonna be tough for them.
it is. It is. Again, any team that haven't won a game yet, even the teams that have won a game, you're not locked in to the playoffs there. So I was trying to read some more comments, and I know somebody had posted about, like I said, with that Poplarville Hancock game. Well, with Ty Keys putting up that many yards, the quarterback for Hancock, and Kason, if I'm saying this right,
Yeah,
uh,
case on Keenan.
he put. Let me see. I hate to go off camera, but I can't. I think they posted his stats. If I can, let me see. Where? Oh, I guess
Something like
Hancock football. You're saying that's what Kaysen had was three. He had 417 total yards,
yeah,
7 touchdowns. He had 4 passing and 3 rushing. That is Kason Cano
case on
from
Keenan. Yep.
Keenan from Hancock, the quarterback, along with Ty Key. So I mean, that was again a great game there. That
Seven
came
on
down to an
seven game.
onside. Came down to an
Onside kick.
onside kick with after Poplarville fumbled the ball.
Yep.
And what a game there. Again, it was 60-54 Poplarville. And so, what is that? That tells you there, their defense. I mean, Hancock put it on them next week. Again, they will go to PRC and Coach Feaster with their new turf field. They come out with a win tonight. They are 3-0. That is Coach Feaster and PRC. If I had to say early line right now, I do lean toward the home team, but
Yep.
Poplarville, had himself a night tonight. But true, their defense didn't get off the bus. Neither team's defense got off the bus. As 114 points that were put up there.
That's right.
So, but those are the final scores. The 17 games here tonight. Again, 6 teams moved to undefeated territory in Ocean Springs, Picayune, D'Iberville, West Harrison, St. Martin, and PRC. And then 4 teams that still haven't won a game in George County, Bay, Van Cleve, East Central, and Hancock. And again, I know Christian Collegiate, is 0-4 actually. They played the week before, but again, a record-breaking night. As I was trying to see, we might be signing off here unless anybody wants to come on the live. Like I say, I don't know. Bingo is on the road. Boz, I'm sure didn't go up to watch Gulfport, so I am soloing it tonight. But I do appreciate you coming on here, Hunter,
Oh, you're
as you
welcome,
drive
man.
because that's where you're driving back from, correct? With Gulfport.
That's right. I'm driving back from the bricks at Laurel. I fortunately have been just to stop for a little gas, but yeah, no, I'm in almost in northern Harrison County, so I'll be home in just a little bit. Uh,
All right. Well, I certainly appreciate it. You joining on, and again,
Thank you, sir.
another like I say, great night on coast football with, again some up. Was there any upsets? I mean, I don't, I don't know. I really don't know if there was any upsets. I mean, I know. I guess
Yeah.
Pascal Cheyenne drops their first game, but it was on the road
Well,
again to a PCB.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that I'm guessing the point totals is more of the upset. Like for instance, Gulfport winning only 17-14, or Ocean Springs only winning 21-14, or just like what we said, or West Harrison beating Gaucher pretty rough. I mean, the point totals are what's more of the upset style, and that's what I got for you, Matt.
Yeah, I agree. And again, the team, getting their first win tonight was Moss Point. Coach Jenkins there,
Yep.
24-14 over St. Stanislaus. That I mean, that wasn't necessarily a major upset. I did have the Rockachals
No,
winning, but
no.
still, Moss Point's been obviously struggling this year.
Well, and Stanislaus has got a group of young kids. I mean, I think there might only be one or two seniors on their team. None of those kids really have a whole lot of playing experience like they have in the past. So, and they have a tough region. So if they, I think the last place team out of that region will be either them or St. Patrick. And I know both of the staffs pretty well, so that'll be probably your only game that's worth a shot for either one of them in that region.
Yes, and then now, like I say, Rockachals will go home and host a not so happy Pass Christian team again, a
Yeah.
non-region game, but they drop in their first loss tonight. That is the Pirates, as they're headed back from Presbyterian Christian
That's right.
tonight. So, but just trying to see if there was any other comments on there. I would like to have got a coach on here, but like I say, I've tried over the last few weeks and don't seem to be able to get. I've only tried a couple
Well,
coaches.
and especially if they're on the road, that's pretty hard. I mean, I can just tell you, being a former assistant coach myself, it's pretty tough when you're on the road. You're trying to put stats and all that stuff together. So,
Yeah, I was looking for more of the home coaches, but
yeah,
again,
yeah.
I didn't send them out. I didn't send out a link to them, and then Bingo, I guess, is just celebrating the win over there with Ocean Springs, but kind of
There
licking
you
his
go.
wounds with Gaucher losing tonight at West Harrison. So that loss there. Again, the coach top 10, you have the first five teams winning in Ocean Springs, Picayune, D'Iberville, Gulfport, West Harrison. Biloxi lost. They were ranked sixth. They lost to number two Picayune. Poplarville won. Eighth ranked Pascagoula lost to number one team Ocean Springs. Stone lost to St. Martin, who was 13th ranked, and then Gaucher lost. They were 10th ranked. 11th and Pasco Shan lost, and 12th ranked Pearl River Central did win. So,
That
you
that
know,
St. Martin game might be the only unpredicted upset for you, Matt. Just to be honest with So
Well, I picked St. Martin to win just because
yeah,
Stone was out without their quarterback.
yeah, but
If he
still,
was starting,
what I'm saying is the way, not so much of the personnel, just the way things were run in general. So
yes. So there'll be some movement in the top 10. It'll come out Tuesday as it normally does on at 7 o'clock. But if somebody's going to drop out,
good
Goshen
deal.
was 10th rate. If they're gonna drop out, who's going to jump in? Pascal Shan just lost; they were 11th. So we'll have to see what the voters and the
Yeah.
strength of schedule. See what the strength of schedule
Yep.
plays a factor into that coach top 10. As far as the stat man, myself, I again went 14-3 tonight. Losing
It's
the
not
Moss
bad.
Point game, losing the Pass Christian game, and the last game was I did pick St. Patrick to win on the road against Amet. Is that how you pronounce it? Amet Rebels. They
Yeah,
were
Amite. So
Amit.
Amite County, right
Okay,
up there
Amit. Yeah.
by Louisiana, right by the right close to Louisiana. You're going to LSU. You take that way down to 55-12. It's yeah.
Well,
That's,
I just find out that there was because I actually text the coaches, St. Patrick coach, and ask them who they were playing because there's two of them, two teams with the
well,
same name. You know
yeah.
that now. I know that
That's
now, and it
that's Nate.
confused me. I said, "Wait a minute, Resurrection's playing them," and then somebody said, "No,
Well,
St. Patrick is playing them,"
well,
and it's just
yeah, it's a state difference. Nate and I have been good friends. Coach Nate is St. Patrick's head coach. I've known Coach Nate for over 11 years. He and I coached together in Stanislaus, and yeah, Nate's he's originally from Pittsburgh, so he's not. I'm not saying he doesn't know his way around because he's been down here on the coast for over 10 years, but. Going up there in parts of Mississippi that they lose the land of time that time forgot. That's pretty interesting right there. So
yeah, that just threw me off that they're both named the same.
a meat, yeah. Well, Louisiana calls theirs a meat, where Mississippi calls it a mint, but it's literally those two towns are about 5 miles apart. So, it's, but yeah.
Yeah, and I was trying to. Oh, there you go. I was reading the comments. That's why you don't see me on here.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
Kaison and Canaan, Kaison Canaan is
yeah.
again they're correcting my pronunciation, which I certainly appreciate it.
Well,
And I'm
yeah,
trying to see about getting them on here. Uh, the announcers from Hancock Radio, as it's 11:40. We may go to the top of the hour and probably end the show there. Appreciate everybody on the live and even on the rewind, which I'll share tomorrow. Please post your comments on about the games tonight. But I thought I had his phone number, and I guess I do not have. I believe it's Aaron
oh, for Hancock.
Underwood.
Yeah, for
Yes,
Hancock. Okay.
I don't have. That's why I was seeing if he'd DM me his number, and I will send him.
I'm not sure he
Unless
does
let me.
Hancock anymore. So
Yeah, I know. Oh, there. Well, let me see. So who does Gulfport have next week? Or how do
they
you feel? They
have.
have they have Pedal at home. So how do you feel about that game while I'm trying to
Well, definitely a tough one because you got Marcus Broyles coaching Pedal. Now, granted, Ocean Springs took care of business against Pedal, but you got to fix this turnover battle. There's got to be some offensive production, and even even if there's nothing like through the air, there has to be some more in Gulfport's offense other than Cooper Crosby, and I think that's really going to be, the key factor. Petal having a great defense, just like Gulfport's had a pretty good defense so far this year. They those defenses will match up well, and you might get a low scoring contest. But Petal, they're going to bring something, and this being the last year of Milner Stadium, Petal's had a pretty good record. The last time they played, in Milner Stadium was last year when Petal beat them by just, I believe it was a touchdown in the playoffs, the last series. And, if you're me, that'd leave a lot of bad taste in your mouth. But Gulfport has a pretty different team as far as, other than Crosby and Javon Anderson and Andre Peters, most of them are new players on their team. So I'm not sure about the revenge factor from that, but I think it'll be interesting. It'll be an interesting game.
All right, we are joined by Aaron. You see Aaron Underwood from for Hancock, who was at that game tonight. Do you guys still call the game, Aaron, or no?
Yeah. Call it on WRJW, or you can check my Facebook. I post a link every Friday. We're live every Friday.
Oh, okay. So you don't do YouTube anymore then?
Well, the YouTube, something that had to do with like the licensing or something through YouTube, and now all the games are on what is it, NFHS or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. Okay. So anyway, so you are the voice of the Hancock Hawks, and you were there. Again, I listened to the end of it, but I mean, roughly go tell the fans again. It was a 60-54 win by Poplarville, but what a night by
Heck
Ty
of a
Keys,
game.
and then your quarterback. What happened?
Homecoming night. What a opponent to have on homecoming night as well. The state champion Poplarville Hornets, right? And Ty Keys. Not to mention they had another young man on the defensive line. Can't think of his name right now, but he's a 4-star athlete.
Yes.
Being looked at by the likes of Notre Dame and Ole Miss right now. So the one thing I can say is it was a back and forth game early. Missed extra points, blocked extra points, some missed opportunities. I mean, we were right there. There was a situation where it was first and goal. Kyson is how you pronounce the name. Kyson.
Tyson?
Yeah, Kyson Canan.
All right.
Or you can just say K3. But yeah, there was a situation where it was first and goal. He goes on the center. We usually under the out of the shotgun. He goes on the center, gets the snap, and tries to Drew Brees it and jump over the line and just stick the ball over the goal line. And they kind of pushed him backwards, and what looked like was forward progress, but they kept pushing him back, and then eventually just took the ball in his hand and called it a fumble. So that was a missed opportunity for the Hawks right there to go up and take the lead early. But I mean, Ty Keys, he's a different breed. It didn't even really look like he was even running full speed on most of the runs. Their Poplarville's defense has some holes in it for sure, and if they got some teams that can throw the ball, they could be in trouble. But yeah, definitely some missed opportunities. We was down as much as 21 points at one time. We fought back, brought it back all the way. There was another onside kick opportunity where we executed it perfectly, but our kicker is the one where you kind of kick it in the middle and do like the little umbrella shell around it, and everybody waits until it gets past 10 and falls on it. Well, they guarded, they did it right, but the kicker slipped and fell. So Poplarville was able to recover it, and another missed opportunity right there. But yeah, we fought back, and the one time they don't give the ball to Ty Keys, they give it to the wingback on a little wingback trap around the left side, and it's a fumble recovery, and we take advantage of it and go down by 6. and we try onside kick again, and we recovered it, and just not enough
Mm.
time, And what looked like could have been an epic comeback on homecoming night just fell a little short. But I'm proud of them. After scoring 13 points in week 1 versus Stone, 14 points last week on the road versus Harrison Central, and to put up 54 points on this team, is just leaps and bounds past what they did the first 2 weeks. So, we're talking about PRC, we're talking about this team and that team. I think what Hancock is doing is, they're not usually facing these type of tough teams early on in the season, and maybe it's gonna, this adversity is gonna toughen them up for when it comes to district play.
Yes, indeed. Like I say, losing those 2 road games and now going 0-3. Coach King, the new head coach there. What stats did you? I saw somebody post stats. I don't know if it was you that for
Yeah,
your
it's all.
quarterback
This is
there.
this is my account. Yeah, so if you see
Okay,
anything
what
from
was
Hawks Radio, it's me.
what was his? You said 7 total, 4 passing, 3 rushing, or what
Yeah,
was
yeah.
his?
So again, the turnovers that we had was like I said, the unfortunate fumble where I thought it should have been called, forward progress, but they allowed the play to keep going and then to take it from him. And then we threw a little wide receiver screen and it went through the receiver's hands, bounced off his helmet into the air, and that's where that 4-star defensive lineman scooped it and was a pick six. I mean, that kid was moving too once he had it. He was like, no one's going to catch me. So that's another missed opportunity. And then that same kid had a strip sack fumble right before the half. And, that's the 3 turnovers. I mean, we don't have those 3 turnovers and we convert those into points. I mean, we probably win that game. So a little bit of luck on you said it earlier. No, neither team really brought their defense out. It was
Yeah,
it was a fireworks show. But you eliminate those 3 turnovers. I mean, you probably win that game.
yeah. Again, that breaks the 114 combined points. Breaks Hancock's record, which was 108 back in fact, last year was when they had that 108 total points there.
Was it Natchez? 55 to
Yes, the
53,
first game.
something like that.
Yeah,
Yep.
Natchez there. So as far as your I mean, Hancock, of course, you have the 5 region games you'll play uh, versus you'll host PRC. You're at Picayune. You're at Gaucher. You host Pascagoula, and then Long Beach. You're gonna have to beat 2 of those
The
teams.
formula's 2. We figured that out last year. You know what? We won 3 games all last year. 2 of them were West Harrison and Long Beach, and that got us in the playoffs. So in this district, the formula is win 2 district games, and you're going to be that 4th seed. And obviously, the goal is not just to win 2; it's to
Yes,
win. So hey, anything can happen on any Friday night, and especially in high school football. But to kind of answer your question, also you asked earlier, I don't have my stats right in front of me, but Canaan was around 65, 66% completion percentage. I think it was like 22 of maybe 37, 281 yards passing. And this air raid offense, we didn't score a passing touchdown through the air the first 2 weeks. He had 4 tonight. So again, that's glimpse or signs of, hey, maybe this thing's starting to click for not only Canaan, but for the offense in general, right? We also had another 100-yard rusher tonight. Was sophomore running back Omar Zalea. He had I think 12 carries for
all right.
101 yards. He also had a big like 35, 38-yard touchdown on a screen play. Hancock also pulled out some tricks tonight. They did a little double, I guess, wide receiver or reverse pass, double pass or whatever, to get on the board to kind of mix it up and trick up Poplarville. So that was interesting. Um, and then a senior receiver, Miles Mack, 6'3", about 180 pounds. I think he went over 100 yards receiving with a touchdown. And then our backup quarterback, who also plays receiver, Justin Wedgeworth, had 2 receiving touchdowns on the night with about 80 yards. So the like I said, the offense looked. I mean, you score 54 points. Other than those 3 turnovers, you think it pretty much was flawless, right? I mean, how many teams score
Uh,
54 points and lose?
And correct. Because they showing the record when you score more than 40 points. You're 29-4. That is Hancock. So of course tonight, but when you allow 40 or more points, which they did tonight, you're 1-85 now. That's
That's the
if
one.
you allow.
That's the one thing we need to get. We need to get the defense to match the offense. You know, weeks 1 and weeks 2, me and Donnie Moran, another former, he does the broadcast with me. He's the color analyst. We're both Hancock alum. We bleed, Hancock. Um, but we was thinking back, it was like we don't think we've ever given up 90 plus touchdowns in back to back weeks. And then almost happened again today. Ty Keys on his, third play from scrimmage. It seemed like the first 2 plays they were like, oh, we're gonna try to use him as a decoy. They did like a little wingback trap for a couple yards, a quarterback draw for a couple yards, and then third play of the game, 87-yard touchdown. So I mean, 3 yards away from giving up 90-yard plus touchdowns in consecutive weeks. And it's, and that's the thing. Hancock's defense is pretty dang good on first and second down. Third down,
Third down.
it, third down is our kryptonite. I mean, it could be. I mean, we gave up it was a 3rd and 20 when we gave up a 90-something yard touchdown versus Harrison
Man,
Central. It was 3rd and 25.
man.
It was 3rd and 25 at home week 1 versus Stone when we gave up the 96-yard touchdown
Yeah.
to Aiden Green. I mean, 3rd and 25. There's not too many plays in the playbook on 3rd and 25. You're thinking maybe they trying to run the ball to get a little room to punt it, and next thing they're breaking it for 90-something yards. A
Yeah,
lot of
seeing the
missed tackles.
stats that you posted, a little while ago, as far as on K3, 417 total yards with again 7 total rushing, 7 total passing,
Well,
7 total
yes.
touchdowns. So that's a pretty good night for K3
Oh,
there with the Hancock. And next week you go to St. Martin. They're riding high after the toughest with a good win tonight at Stone. Uh, so how do you feel about Hancock going to St. Martin?
hey, look, I'm always going to say Hancock has a chance. That's just me,
Yes.
right? But it's going to be another tough game, right? On the road, we only have 4 home games this whole year. Everything else is on the road. And then after the St. Martin, this is unusual as well. I think we were supposed to play Moss Point, but something happened, so we wind up having a bye. We're going to have a bye week after this next week. So maybe let the guys rest up, and then we go into Bay High. So I'd like to get that win under us, right? Then rest up and I don't want our first win to be Bay High. I think we can beat Bay High.
Yes.
But then again, I mean, you never know. Again, like I said, anything can happen on any given Friday night. I do know tonight, Poplarville. I don't know how significant the injury is, but their quarterback did take a pretty big lick from one of our players, and he was out the whole fourth quarter. So they did a little wildcat offense with Ty Keys. They did bring in a backup quarterback, number 12. I don't remember his name, but I mean, they threw the ball one time all night. And
Yeah,
that's
that's
tough,
that.
when a
Oh
team
yeah.
is just going to run the ball, and even though they're in the shotgun, I'm sitting up there thinking I'm putting everybody in the box. If they're going to beat us, they got to beat us with the pass. But they beat us with Ty Keys, and he's definitely the key to offense for sure.
Yeah, again, that's what they posted or said on the podcast there. I'm sorry, the radio broadcast, 17 carries, 546 yards, 8 touchdowns again for Ty Keys. But again, your quarterback there had a great night himself with over 400 total yards and 7 total touchdowns there for
Yeah,
Hancock. Again, at St. Martin next week, you guys did lose last year in overtime. I remember that game. I think I had you guys winning that game, and I think that's the one you went for 2 or they went for 2. And
we went for 2. Yep.
okay, yeah, and
But
again, it's a non-region
we
game, so
we could have kicked the field goal and tied it up and took it into overtime. But on the road, you take those chances. Hey, why not? Again, at that time, I believe we were winless, right? Trying to get our first win on the road or on the schedule that far into the season already. I think we had already lost to Moss Point and Natchez, and I think they might have been the 3rd game of the season. Hey, you got it all up there. I know you got it all. you
yeah, you
you the
guys did
stat
beat.
man. So
You beat Moss Point 16-6, and then
okay,
you
yeah,
lost, and then you lost to Petal, then Van Cleve, and lost in
that's
overtime to
okay. Hey,
Florence.
we don't need to bring up all that.
But hey, you won West Harrison 21-20. That's
That
again, I
was
thought West Harrison was going to make it last year in the playoffs, and you
that was
guys
that was another
really,
tough one.
yeah, took them out, and then so their playoffs for West Harrison. But that's now they're in 7A, and
They're
they're
surprising the heck out of me right now. I think I posted or commented on one of your something you posted maybe on TikTok or Instagram. I follow you on
uh,
all of it.
yeah,
That I don't think West Harrison at the time. I said I don't think West Harrison moving up from 6A to 7A is going to win a game in that district, and I'm thinking I'm going to change my thoughts on that because Jordan Staples is another. He's another. The coast might be full of some stars at running back this year.
man, it is definitely is, and they have a Zakir, I want to say, defensive guy. He's a great defender there, and they play Laurel next year. But they beat Poplarville, which is a good game there. They beat Gaucher tonight at home. That is West Harrison. They beat Forest, the last week, and now they'll host Laurel. And then that region game starts on the 26th. They're at St. Martin. So is this the year that West Harrison makes the playoffs? They've been close. They moved up now, like say to 7A. So yes, we'll see. But Hancock, again, you guys will travel
St. Martin.
next
Yep.
week to St. Martin. So I will have to tune in. I'll have to find
Yeah, look on
you
my
live
Facebook. Yeah, look on my
Facebook
Facebook.
page.
Yeah, on my Facebook, I always post the link. You just click on the link. It brings you to the what's called the stretch portal, and you just hit play, and there we are live. But I give you a score: Hancock 35, St. Martin 30.
35 30. Of course, I haven't looked at anything, but being on the road and they're at home, if I had to pick right now on this Friday week before, I would lean toward the home team. That's how close
Oh
I think
yeah,
the game
home
will
field advantage.
be. Yeah, yeah. So Hunter Dawkins, you have a question, anything for Aaron? I know I kind of muted you there with you driving back.
No. It's good.
Because I know you're familiar with Hancock.
Oh, absolutely. I'm impressed with what Hancock's had this year too. I think the quarterback play. You guys are really good, and I think you've got a really good chance to make the playoffs again too. And I'm hoping for the best for y'all, at least from that. So.
Hey, look, it'd be nothing more than I'm sure for Coach King to come in, and I told him when we had the interview in the beginning of the before the season even started, hey, look, nobody's looking for you to come turn this team into a state championship team overnight. It's going to be a work in progress. He's implementing a whole new offense, whole new
Oh yeah.
defense. So it's going to be a work
Well,
in progress. But like I
and
said earlier, the winning formula is two. But I'd like to get a little bit more than what we did last year. We only had 3
well,
wins,
and
so
Aaron, I'm sure you're aware of too. I mean, not only bringing in a new system, you have to have the kids develop with that system, and that's not a 1 year thing. That's a 2, 3, 4 year thing, and
oh
so
yeah, and that's something he was super excited about. We got 40 freshmen coming in this year.
that's great.
Uh, all those kids are going to benefit from being in this system, and
Absolutely,
maybe this might be the place where people start moving and wanting to come play because it's an air raid offense. You know how
that's right.
things catch on, and it's all about getting looked at and what system fits you best to get looked at to play D1.
Absolutely. Hey, I'll tell you what. Living right up close to there off of Vidalia near Kildaleel. It's a beautiful area up there, so I'm looking forward to seeing what y'all got up there. So.
Yes, sir.
Yep. So we shall appreciate you joining us here as we hit midnight, and I have your number. I have to store your number because to get some fans on there and announcers for their teams. That's what we certainly like to do here
I'll
on
start
the
bringing my
post
stats
game.
with me
So
after the game next time too.
yeah. So
I left it in the car.
great to have you on here. I know Hancock, again took a loss tonight, but still a great showing. And that air raid, it's going to take some time. Your new offense, like I said, it's going to take some time to take off, and it kind of lifted up a little bit. See if it carries over to St. Martin
Well,
next
Matt, I
week.
know you
So
come to Diamond Head. I live in Diamond Head. I know you come to Park 10 Lanes quite a few times. But hey, man, come out to the next home game. Come catch us.
yes, I will look to do that. I've been out there, of course, on the sidelines several times over the years, and even called a game there back when we were calling high
You
school
come.
football.
You let me know if you coming to the game, and we'll get you on the halftime show. We can talk some high school football.
Okay. All right. I appreciate it, Aaron. And I believe, like I said, this link that I sent you, I'll send you another one if for next week, but I think it will still be in use. You could try it there next week. So if you
Okay.
want to come on, I know you'll be on the road. So,
Yeah.
and hopefully,
I'll try to, after all the games, I try to get on and just kind of listen and stuff. I didn't know quite how to get on like I am now, but I mean, it's good to know. Super simple. So anytime if you see me on and I post a comment or whatever, you want to get me on, just send me the link. I'll hop on. I'm always down to talk sports, whether it's high school football, college, or NFL. I'm a sports guy.
yes. All right. I appreciate it, Aaron.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.
All
Good
right.
night.
Thank you. All right. That was Aaron Underwood with the Hancock Hawks. They did lose tonight, 60-54. But as you said, they had the onside kick there at the end, but and his quarterback just did a great job there. K3, as they call them, the air raid offense there, over 400 yards, total yards there for the Hancock quarterback. But Ty Keys also 17 carries, 546 yards. Did I mute? Let me see. There's Henry. Um, but Ty Keys, 8 rushing touchdowns, ties a record. So, but all right, Hunter. Well, I certainly
Well,
appreciate you being on, and be safe
absolutely, sir.
the rest of your way back. And we will be
Well,
posting the podcast coming up
yeah,
next week.
absolutely. We'll have the podcast, you and me, on Sunday. We'll get it out. Like I said, and not over here promoting myself with the HD Experience, sponsored by the Gazebo Gazette. And we'll have some good guests yourself, Coach Pinnock from Gulfport, Craig Stevenson from AL.com, covering the Auburn South Alabama game. And, South Alabama's whole half of their team is from Mississippi. And so, and then Rick Cleveland, one of my good friends and one of the Hall of Fame legends in sports writing here in Mississippi. So I'm looking forward to seeing y'all. And Matt, you have a good night, my friend.
All right, we certainly appreciate it, Hunter. Safe travels back, and we'll check you next week.
Take care.
All right, thank you. All right. Yeah, I had to mute him a little bit with the road sound there, but certainly appreciate Hunter joining us tonight again. I guess Bingo and Boz couldn't make the show, and we certainly appreciate the fans. Again, Aaron Underwood uh, made it on here from Hancock. In the any kind of upset scores tonight, trying to read again the comments, which is hard for me to do. Let me see if I found passing yards statewide. I have the records statewide. I was just trying to find what it was for rushing, and I cannot find my rushing statewide records. Let me see. So anyway, that's what I've been trying to look for all night, but it's not official on his. But again, Ty Keys had a great night. Let me see if I can go to the live stream on the Facebook page to see about the comments before we ended up here. We still have over 300 viewers on here. Certainly appreciate you guys joining us. Let me mute myself as I look at myself on here. 17 Pearl River Central quarterback. Thank you, Brent there, Gerald. PRC quarterback, which is Coach Feaster's son, Titus Feaster, was 17 of 25 for 392 yards and 5 touchdowns. A great night there for Coach Feaster's son. Surely proud. And Coach Feaster shares a lot of stuff that we share on our Facebook page. And they did get the win tonight to move to 4-0. That is TRC. Will they jump into the top 10 as they were ranked 12th? And Patrick Christian lost on the road tonight. we shall see what the voters come up with, as I am one voter. I think I'm going to get rid of my 5 other voters and just have me vote, but I feel it gets more of a true overall rankings when I have 5 other people vote. And then we do strength of schedule. So those teams that feel, hey, why isn't this team, they're 2-0 or they're 3-0 in there? Well, look at who you played. And actually one of them is PRC as we speak about it. They are 3-0 and they play who they have in front of them on their schedule, and the combined record for the teams that they have played, Bay has not won a game. They're 0-3, and they just beat East Central, who's 0-3. Uh, and Pope John Paul II out of Louisiana, I would have to look and see what their record is. So that does play a effect when ranking. When me as a voter, I look where you played at. People say, why is Gulfport still somewhat up there? They played one game. They lost to Picayune. They had it inside the 5-yard line. If he doesn't throw a short pass, they throw it in there and win the game most likely against Picayune. That woulda, coulda, shoulda, but they didn't get blown out. Gulfport tonight, Biloxi did not get blown out. They lost. They did lose at Picayune, where it's hard to win at Picayune. I know Biloxi was confident, as they should be, beating Pascagoula last week, and they lost tonight. Biloxi did 23-14, ranked 6th, went up from 10th to 6th after they beat Pascagoula. Now, where would they fall to? They will probably most likely drop. Pascagoula, 8th ranked. They were 3rd ranked. They dropped 8th ranked. I personally didn't move them down to 8th ranked. I moved. I think I had them up one slot or 2 slots. But Pascagoula, I feel, is locked and loaded. A lot of returning players. And again, the quarterback went. I say out. They replaced him with Loper. I don't know if he went out with the injury or just to pull. But 21-14, Ocean Springs slid by Pascagoula. That's what was the score at halftime. So that, as a voter, I look at it and say, well, Pascagoula, he lost, yes, but they only lost by a touchdown to the number 1 team on the coast, if not the state, in Ocean Springs. There was, several. In fact, I'm watching the highlights now. I'll share from WXXV on that game. But it was pick 6. Loper got. There was a couple turnovers. Again, no scoring in the second half, which is surprising there. But 6 teams remain undefeated tonight at 3-0. Again, Ocean Springs, Picayune, D'Iberville, West Harrison, St. Martin, PRC. All of them are undefeated at 3-0. There are 5 teams that have not won a game. George County played a very close game tonight. Score-wise, I have not seen highlights of it. But they did lose to Greene County, the Battle of the Bell, 29-23. It was 14-7 at halftime. Greene County. Bay took it on a chin. They got shut out tonight against Long Beach, 49-0. I was watching that game on the live stream. I was watching Fort Stone, Bay, Picayune, Ocean Springs. That's at least 4 games, and then tuned in on the Talking Ball app to listen to the end of that Hancock and Poplarville game. Long Beach 49-0 over Bay. That was their last shutout, was 2010. That is Long Beach. So a little bit since they've shut out a team. Van Cleve 0-3. I did have them losing tonight. I had them winning week 1, and I still think that they would make the playoffs. They just get it together there. They have a leading rusher on the coast there. The Bulldogs do, but they do fall to 0-3 at Forest County. 21-19. It was 14-7 at halftime. Forest County, and Forest County held on 21-19 against Van Cleve. East Central lost to PRC. The East Central does fall to 0-4. Thought I had that stat in there. I do. The last time they started 0-3 was, or back-to-back seasons, was 2013, 2014. East Central has started 0-3 now last year and then this year. And again, these are non-region games, so just because your team hasn't won yet, please do not be discouraged. They certainly can make the playoffs when the region games, those are the games that do count. Now, some of them would have better chances than others to make the playoffs. And then Hancock is the fifth team that has not won a game. They are 0-3. And again, we just spoke to Aaron Underwood as they just fall short 60-54 against Poplarville. Now, Poplarville will host, will go to PRC next week. As next week will be 17 games. It'll be, again, all non-region games. The region games, the only ones that count toward the playoffs. Let me, till I get this corrected, see about the comments here before. Columbia beat Petal. So, yes, Petal is struggling this year, and that's who Gulfport will play next week. Gulfport winning tonight 17-14. That was closer game than I thought it would be, as Gulfport was able to get that win. We just had Hunter Dawkins on Dawkins, who is with Gulfport, a won at Laurel 17-14. So tomorrow, again, I will have the hot or nots, the streaks, just what we get out of tonight's games. I'll have that at some point tomorrow. And then also we'll have a quick look on Sunday at week 4. I don't like to turn the page so quickly just because we just got done tonight. People are coming from Waffle House, from Whataburger, enjoying the wins and licking their wounds after the losses. And I don't like to turn the page already. Let's go to week 4. Let's go to the next week. Let's enjoy it. The season goes by so fast. We're already 3 weeks into it. And so we'll have a quick look on Sunday at the schedule coming up. And again, some other different odds and stats. And then Tuesday, of course, you know what time? 7 o'clock. Tuesday, top 10. We did the expanded version of top 12 this past week. Wednesday, at what time? 7 o'clock. We'll post the records and the schedule coming out for Friday. The reason I do the quick look on Sunday is because these non-region games, some of them changed over since they put out their schedule. So I like to get them straight, and I'll run over them real quickly here before I get off. And then Thursday, the game predictions, 14-3 that I was able to go tonight, which again, it's decent. It's decent. It's hard in these non-region games, even in the region games. It's hard. You don't know who's in, who's out. Player wise, the games that I did drop was Presbyterian Christian. They did beat Pass Christian. I had Pass Christian winning there. And then Moss Point, Coach Jenkins gets his first win, beats St. Stanislaus. I lost that game there. And then my third game that I lost was St. Patrick to beat the Rebels a meet. And they did lose that game there. So 14-3 night for me in picking. So that will move me, and I'll post that here later on. As I was looking at who tagged me, I was talking ball again. 14-3, so that's going to move me to 39-11. So 50 games in, 39-11, 12-4 the first week, 13-4 the second week, and 14-3 tonight moves the stat man. And again, as Instagram, Coast Football, TikTok, Coast High School Football, on X at Coast Football. Run over to games. A quick look myself here for next week games. Biloxi at Hattiesburg, Pascagoula at D'Iberville, Petal at Gulfport, Tylertown at Harrison Central, Ocean Springs at Picayune. That's number 1 versus number 2 because they both won tonight, and they're going to stay right there. I can tell you that now. One is not going to move over to another. Picayune is not going to move over Ocean Springs. So it's an early release. I'm telling you, 1 and 2, Ocean Springs 1, Picayune number 2. They will face off next week in Picayune. Hancock at St. Martin. This is next week. Quick look. Laurel at West Harrison. Wayne County at George County. Moss Point at Gaucher. Purvis at Long Beach. Poplarville at PRC. That's another great game coming up there with both of them, at the playing pretty good. Forest County AHS at East Central. Greene County at Van Cleve. Pass Christian at St. Stanislaus. Richton at St. Patrick. Sacred Heart at Resurrection. And Ben's Ford at Louisiana at Christian Collegiate. Finally getting into some bye weeks. Not finally, but there are teams that are taking a bye week. Stone and Bay High are off next week. So those are the 17 games. Again, I will post them on Sunday just to make sure everybody's on the same page that they are still what they are, because they tend to change. Tonight's games here before I sign off, if you haven't found it on Coast football, the finals. Discovery Christian beats Christian Collegiate. Both of them 8-man football, moving up to 11-man football. Christian Collegiate has yet not to score this year, 54-0. Christian Collegiate loses tonight. Amit Rebels defeats St. Patrick 42-8. Greene County 29-23 over George County. Long Beach shuts out Bay High 49-0. Amit County Trojans defeats Resurrections 28-6. Resurrection. Moss Point gets their first win. Coach Jenkins 24-14 over St. Stanislaus. Forest County AHS 21-19 over Van Cleve, a nail biter there. Heidelberg 50-7 over Harrison Central. Pearl River Central 3-0 wins 50-21 over East Central. Presbyterian Christian again, 35-21 gives Pass Christian their first defeat. St. Martin, 13th ranked, defeats Stone 21-3. Crockett with all 3 rushing touchdowns for the Yellow Jackets. They will host Hancock next week. Poplarville 60-54 over Hancock. West Harrison 47-17 over Gaucher. That's their second win out of 13 games they've played against each other. Gulfport 17-14 at Laurel. D'Iberville 49-21 over Seminary. Picayune, number 2 team on the coast, 23-14 over Biloxi. And the number 1 team on the coast moves to 3-0, 21-14 over at Pascagoula. They move to 1-2. So I appreciate everybody joining here tonight. I know it wasn't as loud and exciting as Bingo brings his the atmosphere here maybe up to another level than what I do. Being a stat man, that's just what I do, and I got a face for radio, so I don't even need to be showing my face on here. But the story tonight: record-breaking Ty Keys, 8 rushing touchdowns, and we do believe he may have the state record, 546 yards rushing on 17 carries, as they squeak by Hancock 60-54. And I will check the comments one more time before I sign off here. Again, we still have over 350 something people. Yes, Lamar, that's going to be a good game. Osha Springs, Picayune, and that game is at Picayune. The last time that they played, I picked Osha Springs actually to beat Picayune in Picayune, and they did just that. So again, that's next week's game. Picayune will host Osha Springs 1 versus 2, and I was just looking up the stats here. I guess it's not going to bring it up. Anyways, all right. Oh, thank you, Aaron, for I didn't do my percentage just yet. So again, my 10th year making predictions, and it's all for fun. It's all for fun. Please no wagering on that. The bonus is the scores, as I try to get the scores as close as I can. So I believe that's going to be. I think I'm caught up on the comments. Hopefully, again next week we'll have Bingo and company on here, but I'll know he'll be in Picayune next week. So appreciate the shares and the likes. Almost thought I. So Matt Stats fixing to be signing off and trying to share some highlights and do what I do for probably another hour or so. Oh, so enjoy college football on Saturday, NFL on Sunday, but we will be active. I say me will be active posting on here. Thanks for the share and likes, follow all across social media. Appreciate our guest, Aaron Underwood, Hunter Dawkins. Look for all the podcasts that are out there now, the coaches shows. We have at least 3 of them that are there: Gulfport, Ocean Springs, and Biloxi. Just the light is shining bright on the coast. And again, 6 undefeated teams tonight. Some of them are somewhat surprising. Some of them are not. Ocean Springs, Picayune, D'Iberville, West Harrison, St. Martin, PRC. Again, non-region games. We've seen teams start perfect 3, 4, 5-0, and come region games, they can't win a game. and they don't make the playoffs. 4 teams make the playoffs out of every region, no matter if you have 5 or like we have in 7A, 7 teams. But some good storylines, some great players, like Aaron has said about running backs with Ty Keys, with Green from Stone, even though he's limited on running because their quarterback is out. But I mean, you have Stapleton. I mean, there's just so many to name as far as running backs and quarterbacks, defensive linemen. I mean, it's just a whole plethora of some great players here on the coast. We want to make sure everybody shines that light. So Matt Stat's going to end it. I'm not going to bed. I'm just going to do the stats. So, and share the highlights. All right. Thank you guys. Stats out.
Seneca Hampton, where you at, boss?